Welcome into One-on-One on OSU Student Radio KXUY Suddenlink Channel 112, live from Studio 318 here on the beautiful campus of Oklahoma State University. Our Wednesday segment, Logan, behind the desk.
Yeah,
we usually
it's weird.
Have the table. Robert is unable to be here, our OSU insider, because he is ill. So we hope Robert gets to feeling better.
Yeah.
But we're still going to break down stuff in the Big 12, OSU's loss against OU, unfortunately, last Saturday, and then get into the game against West Virginia this weekend. So we'll start off there in the Big 12, which is weird because the chances of OU and West Virginia playing back-to-back in 2 weeks in the last game of the season, the Big 12 championship game, is a real possibility. An OU-Texas Big 12 championship game is a possibility. And Iowa State, OU, Iowa State, West Virginia.
One team you keep saying in there.
Iowa State.
Yeah.
Iowa State, after starting 0-3 and then coming to Oklahoma State and starting their freshman Brock Purdy, which ironically enough, they started him for the first time against the Cowboys, and it worked out well. They are a tough team to play right now. Just crazy how far they've come.
There's an article on ESPN right now, like why no one wants to play Iowa State, and I think Robert's been kind of ahead of the curve on this, hasn't he? He's been saying for a couple of weeks he thinks Iowa State's the real deal, and there's a chance they could play for the Big 12 title. I wish we could see them if they hadn't started 0-3. You know what I mean? I wish Brock Purdy had been playing the whole year, and they'd been playing this way the entire year. Because, I mean, they're on fire right now, and I would have just loved to have seen that for a complete season, except for when they come to Stillwater, which is ironically where it started.
Yeah, Texas and Iowa State are 5-2 in the conference, and then OU and West Virginia 6-1, and then in fifth you have Baylor, who's 3-4, and then lowly at the bottom the Oklahoma State Cowboys 2-5. Although Kansas 1-6 is worse, but for where this program's been for a decade, you don't want to be down at the bottom with Kansas. But there's the four teams that have the possibility of making it, and those teams still have to play.
Right.
Iowa State is going to Austin this weekend, a 15-16 matchup, and quite honestly, I don't know why game day isn't there.
Yeah.
They're going to, you know where, UCF. Who cares about that?
Woo!
But
I do. This guy.
Yeah, I know you care. But a game in Austin that between Texas and Iowa State is probably going to catapult whoever into the Big 12 championship game, especially if Iowa State's able to win. But the problem is, it's Iowa State and Baylor last weekend, and they had a brawl.
Yes.
Roberts, the defensive end for Baylor, will be suspended the first half of this game this week, and David Montgomery, the star running back for Iowa State, is suspended for the first half in Texas.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't play at Oklahoma State. He was hurt.
Injured.
Brock Purdy will be able to play this weekend. So do you think that brawl, first of all, do you think suspending these guys for a half is enough? You saw the video, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that's enough?
No, I think a game would have been enough. Isn't that kind of where you fall?
I think a full game.
Yeah.
I mean, they threw a lot.
There's a lot of punches thrown.
The defensive end for Baylor swung around a ref.
Yeah.
Like he went and swung around a ref at David Montgomery. So I don't think a half suspension is enough. But who do you have in this game in Austin Saturday? Like we said, it's 15-16. There's some turmoil, some news following around this Texas program, which we're going to break down a lot on Friday. But who do you have this weekend in this Big 12 marquee matchup?
I want to take Iowa State, but the loss of David Montgomery hurts them. I'm still going to take Iowa State. I think Texas has kind of collapsed. What have they dropped 2 in a row?
Oh, they won at Texas Tech, but they were a last-second touchdown away from losing 3 straight.
But after they lost to us, they lost the next week, right?
Yeah, they lost to West Virginia. Yeah,
and then you barely handle Texas Tech. And were they at home for that game?
No, it was in Lubbock.
Okay, so that doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt as much since it was a close game. But still, I think Iowa State is the better football team right now. They're playing like the better football team right now, and I think they'll miss him for the first half. But I think Brock Purdy can keep him in the game long enough for him to return in the second half, and then I think they can take care of Texas.
I will take Iowa State in this matchup as well. I think that Texas's defense, if they get spread out, especially against Brock Purdy, he will be able to pick them apart. But I think it'll be a very close game, a lower scoring game, probably by Big 12 standards, probably like 31-28, 31-27.
Man, that's such a low scoring game
for the Big 12. Ironically enough, that is low scoring nowadays, but I think we're both comfortable taking Longhorns. Now, Oklahoma State is playing West Virginia this weekend, which we'll get into, and OU is playing Kansas. So OU,
dang, that's a nail biter.
Yeah, default win for the Sooners. That we're just going to go ahead and give them that already. So that will improve them to 7-1. at the end of the day, with everything factored in, West Virginia and OU still have to play.
Right.
West Virginia is coming to Oklahoma State this weekend, and Texas and Iowa State. And Iowa State still has a game left after this one, as does Texas.
Yes.
But where you're looking at it now, what you think you know now, no one truly knows. But where you see it standing now, who do you have in the Big 12 championship game?
I've got OU and West Virginia. I hate to pick them because they're the two most likely to make it, but that's just who I think. OU's obviously going to handle Texas, and I think they'll beat West Virginia in 2 weeks whenever they end up in the regular season. And then West Virginia, I think they can get in with 2 losses because I think Texas is going to finish with 3 losses. And did West Virginia beat Iowa State? Is that correct?
No, Iowa State beat West Virginia.
I had that back. I had that confused. I had that backwards. So then I'm going to take OU and Iowa State.
Yeah, Iowa State has Texas.
My logic was flawed. I'm sorry.
Texas and Kansas State left.
Yeah.
Texas has Iowa State and Kansas. West Virginia
I can't wait to talk about
has
that
OSU
game.
and OU. OU has Kansas and West Virginia. So it's all coming down here to the end.
Yeah.
But if Iowa State wins out, they're in.
Yes.
That being if West Virginia loses
to OU.
If West Virginia wins out, they're in.
I don't think they're going to do that, though.
You don't think that they're going to beat OSU and OU back-to-back weekends? And I'm not saying I disagree with you. It depends on what kind of Oklahoma State team they play this weekend.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is OU doesn't have to win that game against West Virginia. For their college football playoff hopes, yes. But maybe they don't have to show all of their cards.
Right.
West Virginia is going to have to go in and show all their cards and then do it again the next week.
Right.
So that will be a very weird scenario if Oklahoma and West Virginia have to play. But if West Virginia drops a game either this weekend or next weekend and Iowa State wins out, you're getting an Iowa State-OU matchup. And that's an Iowa State team that I don't think OU wants to play.
No, because Iowa State beat them last year.
Yeah, and before they went up to Ames and played Iowa State and had a close game before Brock Purdy with Zeb Noland. So even then, you're looking at this Sooner defense, and they are atrocious, absolutely awful. And Brock Purdy would be able to pick them apart with a good receiving core and a very talented, experienced running back. And I think Iowa State's defense is a lot better than OU's is. So that would be an interesting matchup. Maybe we'll drive down to Dallas and watch the game. I don't know. You can drive, right?
I don't know if I could drive to watch OU. You know what I mean? That just feels wrong.
We would be Iowa State fans.
Okay.
We could throw on some.
I could get a Brock Purdy jersey or something. You know.
I'd probably just wear like a generic just
Go Sports
regular just gray T-shirt.
Yeah.
I would wear black because it'd be the funeral of OSU not being there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be a good game. But I probably wouldn't pay a penny to get into it. So you're taking OU and Iowa State in this Big 12 championship game. So that's a default question. Who do you have winning the Big 12 championship?
I know we just talked about how great Iowa State's been playing and how OU might not want to come play this team, but I can't bet against OU with the way they're playing. You know,
can't knock your decision.
I like to take hard stances, Reed. I like to have hot takes. You know.
Well, Robert's been pretty convinced that Iowa State.
Yeah.
And he's been on that for a while.
Are you gonna follow Robert's logic? Are you taking the Cyclones?
No, until somebody proves
Yeah.
something different than OU, I won't be able to believe it. So Iowa State at Texas, you're taking Iowa State.
Yep.
OU at Kansas, I'm going to go ahead and answer for you.
That's fair.
And say OU. Baylor and TCU, some down-and-out teams. They hate each other. They don't like each other very much. Who do you have in that Baylor-TCU matchup?
Where's it at? Is it in?
It's at TCU, I do believe.
I'm taking the home team. They're both not very good. Actually, no, I'm going to take Baylor. I'm going to switch that. I'm going to take Baylor.
You're going to take Baylor. The game is at Baylor.
Oh.
The game's at Baylor.
Well, I was going to take Baylor if they were away anyway. I'm taking Baylor.
Okay. I will take Baylor in that game as well and Tech at K-State.
Yeah.
Tech?
Yeah.
Tech.
Easily.
Okay. All right. I will take Tech as well. We're going to come back and break down OSU's offense performance against the Sooners. We'll be right back on One-on-One OSU Student Radio, KXUI, Suddenlink, Channel 112.
One-on-One is brought to you by Tinker Federal Credit Union. Visit Facebook.com/TinkerFCU. While you're there for your family, we're there for you. Tinker Federal Credit Union. And OSU Communications. Not sure where to park? OSU Communications has got you covered with parking tips and bus schedule information. We'll be right back.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.
Welcome into 101 on OSU Student Radio KXY Southern Channel 1, live from Studio 318 here on the beautiful campus of Stillwater, or of Oklahoma State University here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. We're going to get into this offense performance again for the Cowboys against the Sooners this weekend as they fell 48-47 in that Bedlam matchup, dropping the Cowboys to 5-5, 2-5 in the conference, and obviously OU, the number 6 team in the country, moving up to 9-1 and 6-1 in the conference. But I told you this on, I believe I said this on Monday, correct me if I'm wrong, that I really thought that Oklahoma State turned to Bedlam corner because Mike Gundy had guts, and he went for the two-point conversion. Obviously, it failed, but there was a great performance from Taylor Cornelius. He set a Bedlam passing record. We'll get into Oklahoma State offensive totals here. 640 total yards for the Cowboys on Saturday, 501 passing yards from Taylor Cornelius. Like we said, that Bedlam record. And 139 rushing yards. That's without Justice Hill for most of the game, and the one fumble from Chuba Hubbard, which really kind of changed the tide of the game. What did you think of this offense performance from the Cowboys on Saturday?
I thought it was incredible, especially without Justice Hill for all but he played a quarter and a half maybe.
Yeah.
He might have played a
two carries, I think.
Yeah, five carries, 35 yards for Justice. But Taylor looked, I'm not going to say looked like Mason Rudolph, but he looked like he had the arm that Robert's been telling us about. You know, everyone says we haven't seen Taylor throw the deep ball. He was throwing the deep ball on Saturday, and he was connecting with Tylan Wallace, and Tyron Johnson had a good game as well. I was really impressed with the overall offensive performance we had, because I don't think he had a lot of QB runs, right? I think he pretty much stayed in the pocket. He ran it a couple of times.
Yeah, Cornelius. Yeah, I think he had like 5 rushes. It wasn't anything spectacular.
Yeah. I mean, he looked like a really great passing quarterback, which I didn't think was his game.
Yeah.
But I was very impressed overall with everything, especially with Chuba. I know he had that fumble that kind of, like you said, changed the tide of the game, but he seemed like he had kind of cemented his spot for next year as the lead back.
He shows he's the next feature back here for the Cowboys, but yeah, I think you hit it perfectly there. Taylor Cornelius, like you said, 34-53, the 501 yards and the 3 touchdowns. He missed some throws. He wasn't perfect. But that's when we're really breaking it down. He missed some wide-open guys at times, but, man, I think they could have run Tylan Wallace on that deep route and scored probably every time they had the ball because OU just could not stop it. Yeah. So I will ask you the question here. Do you think Oklahoma State's performance was that good on Saturday, the game plan and the execution was that good, or is OU just that bad at defense?
I think it's both. I think you have to go in and run your game plan, you know. Obviously, they game plan for them being bad at defense, I think. I mean, I think OU had some decent defensive games, but they played like nobody opponents. I think they played like TCU and someone else the past couple of games. But I thought it was a little bit of both. I thought they did a really good job sticking to the game plan. And, I mean, it worked, so you got to give them credit for that.
It did work. Tylan Wallace obviously had
man.
a monster day, 10 receptions, 220
I
yards.
should have thrown it to him more.
And the 2 touchdowns. They went away from him at the first part of that second half.
Yeah.
In the third quarter, he didn't see much action, but the 10 receptions, 220 yards, and the 2 touchdowns were remarkable. And Tyron Johnson, he showed up in Bedlam for the second year in a row, about the only time it seems like he shows up in a big way. The hype, like we have been told,
Right.
You know, the promise that he's shown, and we finally saw it in these Bedlam games, because he had 11 receptions, 128 yards, and a touchdown, and Dylan Stoner had 5 receptions, 70 yards. They were getting the ball all around the place.
Yeah.
Landon Wolf had a couple catches. Chuba had some catches out of the backfield.
Chuba almost had 50 yards catching on top of his 100 yards rushing. That's incredible.
Yeah, I think the way they stepped up and protected Cornelius and adapted to Justice Hill going out early in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have liked to have stayed going to Tylan. If he would have been, you know, if they would have shown a pulse in that third quarter to Tylan, there's no telling what kind of day he would have had.
Right.
So I think it was great, the performance that they had, and we'll see next year. Well, it'll take a few years to see if my prediction was right, but I really felt that Mike Gundy turned a corner playing OU because he went for it on that 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
So we'll break that down now, that 2-point conversion. Do you have a problem going for it?
I do not.
Okay. I don't either, but do you have a problem with the play call?
No, because he got open.
Yes.
Wallace was open.
Would you say wide open?
He wasn't naked out there like uncovered, but he was open enough. If you put the ball in the right spot, like just in front of him,
no one could have stopped it.
No.
Okay. Here's where I have a problem with the play call. It was a good play call in theory, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened at Baylor?
Roll out to the right.
Did it work?
No.
The games against South Alabama and Missouri State, when he rolled out right, did it work?
No.
He has never been able to roll out right. So on the biggest stage, your biggest game, in the biggest moment, you have to get this 2-point conversion because your special teams is so awful. You roll him out right when it hasn't worked and Gundy has addressed it in a press conference? You can't come up with something better in that moment. They hadn't been able to stop Chuba Hubbard out of that I formation all day.
Yeah.
Why not put Jelani Woods and Fuyaki in there and let Chuba go? OU's defense is bad. And yeah, it was a good play call in theory because he was open. But Cornelius can't throw rolling out right. I would have liked that should have come into consideration when doing this because Logan, it's not like he threw it off his fingertips.
Right, threw it.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close. And Oklahoma State in this game had plenty of opportunities to step on OU's throat. They were getting OU to kick field goals. They were getting OU to punt. And that was Oklahoma State's opportunity to say, let's take this game over. And they just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. If it's the same play call but you flip it, like Cornelius rolls out left, do you think it's any different? Do you think we score?
No. I don't. Maybe, but he would have to have turned his body in. So I mean,
do you like the play call more if it's flipped?
No.
So you would rather them just run it up the middle, or
a different pass across the middle. But when you've got 3 yards there, I mean, they can stack the box. All the defenders are there. But why not put it on the far hash and let Chuba, one of the fastest guys in college football, if you can set the edge. Tyron Johnson and Tylan Wallace are probably 2 of the best blocking wide receivers in college football.
Yeah.
There's good ones out there, but Coach Casey Dunn, the wide receivers coach here, is an animal. He's obviously a genius. He has a high football IQ, and he can recruit guys with high football IQ that are tough. And he deserves he deserves a ton of credit now, but if Tylan Wallace wins the Blitnikoff Award, Casey Dunn needs a massive raise, and he needs a ton of praise. And I think people respect him, but I don't think he gets enough attention for what they're able to do with those wide receivers. But, yeah, I mean, and as Robert said on this show, we talked about the play call with Baylor last week. You have the power of hindsight.
Yeah.
But even in the moment, I don't think I would have run that play call.
Let me circle back to Wallace and his Blitnikoff chances. Like, what are the chances for you that he wins more than one while he's here? Because he's a true sophomore, correct?
Yes.
So what are the chances he wins more than one?
Probably not very good because I don't think he'll win it this year. Although he has the numbers,
Yeah.
I don't think that they will give him the credit he deserves when it gets to that moment because they're going to look at the team's performance, which I don't think is fair. But he'll win it next year, I'm almost certain, because they're covering him now, and it's just not working. He's that good. I think he'll win one there, but if he keeps on this trajectory, I don't think he plays his senior year, and I wouldn't expect him to. So I think he'll definitely get one. If he wins it this year, there's a decent chance that he'll get two.
Okay.
But he's an unreal talent.
So who do you think will win it this year?
Probably Marquise Brown,
Okay.
because he's been doing it for longer.
Yeah.
But this year, I mean, Tylan Wallace has better stats than Marquise Brown.
Yeah.
He really does. And with Cornelius, who struggled at times in an offense that struggled at times, and he as a true sophomore has played this way, he's better than James Washington was at this point. And that's insane to think about, that he could possibly be better than James Washington. It's insane. But he's been absolutely phenomenal up to this point. What did you think of the offensive line's performance?
I thought
on
it was
Saturday?
awesome.
Yeah,
I thought
did too.
Cornelius had plenty of time in the pocket. They blocked well for Chuba. He busted out some big runs. I think his longest run was 18. They got one for Justice before he went out. He had a 28-yard run. I think that was the one that took him out, was that long run, or it was right after that.
I think he was hurt before that and then came back in and ran for the 28 yards. And it's like, then he went to the sideline. He's like, no. But for him to do that the way he did with that injury was pretty impressive.
I wish he could have played the whole game. I'm not saying it turns out different, but he cares about this game.
Yeah.
He wanted to win this game bad. And it sucks when you see someone that you know wants to be out there and really wants to win get taken out because of an injury. It's not like he was like, I'm not really feeling it anymore. I'm going to go chill on the sideline. Like, he had some bruised ribs. And I've had some bruised ribs before, and it's not fun to just walk around, much less get hit by other guys and stuff like that.
Yeah, it sounds like he's going to be able to play this weekend.
That's good.
So with him missing this game, like you said, he cares about it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is the anti-OU guy on this team. And he hasn't won Bedlam yet. And I don't think that losing to OU is much of an argument to come back to college.
Yeah.
I think there's way too much at risk just to beat your arch rival at times. But do you see any path for Justice Hill returning to Oklahoma State next season?
No. I think he'd be kind of silly too. Like, I understand he loves it here and all that, but he can go make a lot of money in the NFL. He's an NFL talent. He should go get his money because, I mean, when James and Mason came back, there was still a chance that this team could make the playoffs or at least win the Big 12.
Yeah.
This team doesn't have that chance.
You don't think that they can rebound next year?
No, I'm not saying we'll be like this next year, but I don't think.
But realistic national prominence chances next year.
There's no chance for that.
Listen, I think Mike Gundy and this program does a good job of go get your own. I don't think there's any hindrance by the coaching staff or the fan base for all that matter. And I'm perfectly fine if Justice Hill's ready to go, then he's ready to go. He needs to go make that money while he can and play at the next level, which certainly he has the talent to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not so sure that he'll leave now.
You think this makes him want to stay?
I think and I could be completely wrong. I don't talk to Justice on a daily basis. Quite to be honest with you, I've never talked to the guy. And I've never heard this from anyone.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at it, the type of guy, at least we hear that he is, maybe he has some unresolved business here. Maybe he wants to come back. So we will see. Well, we're going to take a quick break, come back, and break down the Oklahoma State defense performance, slowing down Kyler Murray and the Sooners, although they went for 700 yards total offense and scored 48 points. It did seem like Jim Knowles and the Cowboys were able to slow them down. So we're going to take a quick break, be right back. You're watching 101 on Oshie Student Radio, KXUI, Sunlink, Channel 112.
Accounting, business administration, theology, engineering, computer science, or cybersecurity from Oklahoma Christian University. Apply at oc.edu/grad. Oklahoma University is committed to offering the best graduate school experience we possibly can. Come learn and grow with us. And The Table. Stop by The Table on Thursdays at 8 p.m. to join their Bible study. Shoot Rachel an email at rachel@thetableosu.com for more information. We'll be right back.
In my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
Welcome back to One-on-One on OSU Student Radio, KXY Southern League Channel 112, live from Studio 318. Missing our OSU insider, Robert Allen, today. We do hope Robert gets to feeling better. We're going to break down this Cowboys defensive performance in Norman on Saturday. And like I said, Logan, 702 yards total offense for the Sooners, 349 passing yards, 353 rushing yards. Yeah, doesn't look good on paper. But when you slow down one of the best offenses in college football and limit them to 48 points, force them to kick field goals, and force them to punt at times. Yeah.
It's just funny to hear limit them to 48 points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not basketball. Like, this isn't college basketball, but you're right. They did a really good job. They got a lot of pressure on Kyler Murray, which I thought was what kept them in the game the entire time. I feel like they didn't do as good of a job of stopping the run. You don't really know OU as a run-heavy team unless it's Kyler Murray. And plus, they were down their first two running backs. So that was kind of disappointing. But I thought they did a good job overall.
In those first three drives that OU had, I thought they might score 100 points.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't even tackling. What they scored in 3 plays and then 4 and then had a longer drive but moved the ball at will. And I'm thinking, there's not a chance. And Jim Knowles in this defense started to figure out they had a couple free corner blitzes that they didn't execute. They didn't tackle Kyler Murray. And honestly, I can't be mad about it because he's not an easy guy to bring down.
Right.
But he never really got loose. You see his stats there, 21 of 29, 349 yards and the 1 touchdown through the air. He also had 66 yards on the ground. But he got loose a couple times, but not like he did against Texas.
Right.
Not like he did against all the other teams in the Big 12. I thought they contained well for being on an island a lot of times on their own, those linebackers. In the defensive line, I know they gave up 702 yards. But as young as that secondary is, I really thought, and A.J. Green, maybe not a fantastic game, but from where he was at just a week before.
It's a good bounce back.
That dude stepped up.
Yeah.
Stepped up big time. But I think that this 4-2-5 and Jim Knowles, they have been atrocious at times.
Yeah.
They've had dumb penalties. They did not have dumb penalties Saturday. They did not get burned a ton. They got burned sometimes, but like I said, it's the Big 12. It's one of the best offenses, maybe the best offensive mind in college football, in Lincoln Riley. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was impressed.
I was too. I mean, what really stands out for me on Kyler Murray's stats, it's the 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
If Kyler Murray's only involved in 1 touchdown, you would think you would win, but like I said earlier, they gave up 165 yards to Kennedy Brooks, 124 yards to Trey Sermon. I hadn't heard of those guys before Saturday. You know, they lost Anderson early in the season, unfortunately, and then they lost their second string last week, I think if I'm remembering right, and they had 5 touchdowns combined.
Yeah.
If you're giving you're giving the third and fourth string running backs multiple touchdowns, that's what frustrates me about that. And you said A.J. Green. Malcolm Rodriguez is one of those young guys that you always talk about. You love Malcolm Rodriguez.
I do.
He is going to be incredible. 12 tackles, 9 solo tackles. This guy is all over. You say it all the time. He's all over the field. I was really impressed with him on Saturday.
Yeah, him and Kenneth Edison Magruder, the 12 tackles, 2 sacks, and the 3 tackles for loss. And we mentioned A.J. Green. Jarek Bernard, as you saw the safety transfer this week, is because these guys are young and they are good. And they're going to to be playing a lot of football next year and the year after that. They are young. I was impressed. I think that we've heard a lot, especially Robert say, that at times it's just too confusing, this defense. There's just a lot that they had to put out there, and they simplified it a lot against Texas, and you saw them play really well in that game. But, yeah, I can't express enough how, 702 yards of total offense is bad. But when this team needed a stop, they got stops. And that they gave the Oklahoma State offense, which performed well, they just didn't execute in the right moments. But Robert said last week, if you can get a few punts and you can get a few field goals, they have a real chance. And that's exactly what happened. Sacking Kyler Murray and stopping those delayed handoffs and those draw plays was a big moment for this Cowboys defense.
Yeah, I think, was it Kyler Murray that had hardly been sacked all season? Was he the Big 12 quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 sacks?
That's big
awesome.
Against him. Yeah.
That's really big. So I was really proud of the line on that one. I don't know if I can get over the running backs. That was the most frustrating part watching the game live, was why are we letting these 3rd and 4th string guys run all over us? But they did a good job holding the receivers. I thought CeeDee Lamb had a terrible game.
Yeah.
Well, not terrible, but
3 receptions by his standards, 52 yards against our defense. Yeah, not great.
Yeah.
But I think that's credit to Lincoln Riley and OU's program, that those guys can step up and fill in like that. You're not going to find a big OU fan sitting here, but OU, what they're able to do year in and year out, it's looking like they're going to win their 4th straight Big 12 title, and I don't even know how many that is in the last 10 years. They're a historic college football program, but I think, and OU fans you're never going to find a Sooner fan that will tell you this, and probably not a lot of Cowboys fans. But when you look at where this rivalry was at before Mike Gundy showed up, and he's 2-12, I get it. But OU doesn't blow Oklahoma State out anymore.
Right.
I mean, they're close games. You always feel like Oklahoma State has a shot, so they've closed that gap into where they can be competitive. And I really thought they closed the gap in the mental game on Saturday. And like I said, Logan, we're going to have to see this Bedlam game 2 or 3 years down the road and see what happens. I'm not saying OSU will win one of those. I could be completely off the mark on this statement. But I feel that Mike Gundy, he said in his press conference, the message was, we showed up, we're here to play, let's go. And that's exactly what they did. They fought the bully for 4 quarters, and they lost by 1 point. You didn't feel down and out about it.
Yeah. Did you kind of feel like Mike Gundy specifically, had more of like an emotional kind of stake in this? Because he seemed really upset in his post-game press conference. Like, he seemed more upset than usual.
Yeah, it almost felt like Coach Gundy was going to cry at times. Yeah, that's why I think he turned the mental corner.
Okay.
It's like, I'm tired of this crap, and we're going for it, and it just didn't pan out.
Yeah, if we win one, I'll agree with you. I like to be late to stuff, rather than be early and wrong. So as soon as we win one, if we win one of these next 2, I will come on the show and be like, Reed, smartest man I've ever met.
You should probably be doing that right now, but I will give you the 2-year window, because you'll probably be the only person to ever say that.
Okay.
I don't even think I can get my mom to say that. So if you can say that, I would really appreciate it. It would really make me feel good. But we're going to get into the West Virginia Mountaineers here and move on from that Bedlam game. The Cowboys are sitting here 5-5, need one of these next 2 games to become bowl eligible. But it's Mike Gundy against his former offensive coordinator, Dana Holgorsen, who's been at West Virginia since 2011. Mike Gundy is 4-2 against Dana Holgorsen. He was, as I said, the offensive coordinator here for 1 year in 2010, the start of that Whedon to Blackman era.
Yeah.
And then Todd Monken took over. But it is a very good West Virginia team, number 9 in the country. They are 8-1. They're only lost to Iowa State. Where do you kind of see this game teetering? I'll ask you this to start off. Do you think that the Baylor loss and the OU loss is just too much to overcome at this point?
Yeah. I do. As far as bowl eligibility, is that what you're talking about?
No,
or
just
for the
getting
team?
up to play a number 9 team. When you've lost that way, because we said it last week, and Robert knew, obviously, he's the one that got us on this idea, is, hey, listen, they're still okay.
Yeah.
That was a tough loss, but they harnessed that energy, that feeling, and they're going to go to Norman and play. Losing the way they lost, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
You worry.
See, at this point, I think they might be motivated by being the guys that can ruin a season. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you'll save your season in the process of making yourselves bowl eligible, but you can also beat West Virginia and kill their playoff chances, even kill their Big 12 championship chances, possibly. So I think they'll get up to play. I think the crowd will be there. I'm not going to say it'll be like Texas because it's obviously not homecoming. Barry Sanders isn't there. But I think the crowd will be very high energy, and these guys will have something to play for.
I don't know about that crowd sentiment.
I'm hoping.
Yeah. But I'm a little worried about the crowd on Saturday.
I mean, they're home underdogs. You don't think they see that and feel a certain kind of way about it?
Well, I mean, when they were top 5 in the country, they couldn't show up. So,
But neither can West Virginia.
That's true. I meant the fans couldn't show up for a top 5 team.
Okay.
But, yeah, I think there'll be a lot of West Virginia people there. Hopefully, the student section. My worry is how many students are leaving on Friday.
Yeah. Second half.
No, just leaving
in
Stillwater.
Oh.
You're looking. We're looking at
it's close to
Thanksgiving week.
Okay.
A lot of kids are like, "Peace out. I'm not going to be here Monday and Tuesday. I'm gonna take a full week off." That's what worries me.
Okay.
Is a 5-5 team. Students are out of town. How many people are going to get up to go? But it is senior night, senior day. It's 2:30 kickoff. Oklahoma State fans need to be there.
Right.
Desperately need to be there to support these seniors because they are a winning class. They can send them out the right way.
Yeah.
And this team does like playing top 10 teams at home. And you're absolutely right. If they can play the spoiler, especially against Dana Holgerson. None of these guys were here, obviously, when Dana Holgerson was here. But you can preach that to them. You can get that message across. So I don't know, losing the way they've lost to the teams they've lost to 2 weeks in a row, I'm not sure. But if Oklahoma State of last week shows up this week, West Virginia ain't got a chance.
Yeah.
They don't have a chance. Their defense is a lot better than OU's, but I don't think their offense is as good.
Right.
And if they can force some turnovers and play the mind games with West Virginia, Oklahoma State has a real chance. I think that this team can compete with not every team in the country, but compete with a lot of teams. There's still a lot of athletes on this team. They're still the team that won 10 games the last 3 years.
Right.
All those guys were here for that. Most of them. Obviously,
Yeah.
the seniors were here for all 3 of them, but they're still a good football team. They still have a good coaching staff. You're looking at what they were able to do last week, use that same game plan, and send them out the right way, and I think we have a chance Saturday.
So what are you saying? What's your game prediction, score prediction?
I'm going to take West Virginia.
Okay.
Probably by 10, like 48-38. I'm not, if Robert was here to tell me, hey, that locker room is still, we're good,
Yeah.
I would take the Cowboys to win. But with that, and that was part of my thing with homecoming, is I knew the crowd would be there.
Yeah.
I knew the excitement would be there. It wouldn't have to be manufactured. It would be an amazing atmosphere, and it was, and I think that played a lot into the game itself. I just don't know if we're going to get that, and I don't know where the locker room's at. So that's what worries me.
Okay. I'm also going to take the Mountaineers, even though I just gave that big spiel about them being the spoilers and all that. I'm going to take West Virginia. Let's think of a score. I'm going to say I think it's going to be closer. I think it's going to be something like 49 or 46 to 42.
46-42.
Yeah.
I gave them the 10-point. I believe West Virginia's 5-point favorite now.
Yeah.
But OSU has a number 10 offense in the country and the number 95 total defense. West Virginia has a number 34 total offense and number 19 total defense.
Yeah.
So it's a big discrepancy in offense and defense there, especially defenses. We're 95th in total defense, and they are 19th, allowing 254 yards a game. We're allowing 427, 31.1 points per game, and West Virginia's only allowing 21. So that's it. But we'll get into the players that West Virginia is going to be bringing Saturday. We're going to take a quick break and get into also all around college football, some game predictions. We'll be right back on One-on-One, OSU Student Radio, KXUY, Suddenlink Channel 112.
Brought to you by Oklahoma Air National Guard. Contact Oklahoma Air National Guard at 800-GO-TO-ANG or visit their website at goang.com/OK for more information about how to get 100% college tuition. And Unitarian Universalist Church. If you're looking for a church home, visit Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater, located at 320 South Stallard Street. They offer an alternative spiritual path and welcome all races, religions, and beliefs. They're also LGBTQ friendly. Services every Sunday at 10:30. We'll be right back.
Stillwater Medical Center now offers a convenient way to view your health information online. It's secure, easy, and free. Our hospital and clinic patient portals allow you to view results and reports, medications and allergies, track visit histories, view upcoming appointment information, and see your statements. To enroll, go to stillwatermedical.com and click on the patient portal link near the top right of the page. If you have questions, please feel free to call 405-533-6010.
Welcome back to One on One on OSU Student Radio KXUY, suddenly 10:01:12. As you're seeing, one of those two beautiful touchdowns to Tylan Wallace from Taylor Cornelius. We did move on from that Sooner game, but I do want to give a shout out to Taylor Cornelius. He was a baller on Saturday, and he deserves a lot of credit. That missed 2-point conversion is what's going to be talked about. But on the 4th and 12 with the game on the line, he threw an absolute strike for a touchdown. Yeah. So bravo to you, Taylor Cornelius, for your performance on Saturday. That will not be forgotten. I promise you that. So, and I think he deserves that for what he's dealt with this season. But on to Saturday, with the other quarterback that will be here on Saturday afternoon is Will Grier. Probably one of the better college football quarterbacks this year, and he's certainly going to be a high pick in the NFL draft. I think he's like 27 years old after going to Florida and having problems. But you see his stats there, 207 of 300, throwing for almost 3,000 yards, to 31 touchdowns, to the 8 interceptions. He's had a phenomenal year.
For sure.
This offense isn't nearly as powerful as I think it could have been, but he throws to his buddy David Sills, who once got a quarterback offer in 8th grade from Lane Kiffin at USC. But David Sills, the 49 receptions, 700 yards receiving, and 12 touchdowns. The 700 yards doesn't seem like very much to me from David Sills.
No. You would think you would think he would have more.
For a guy who's in the Biletnikoff.
Right.
Yeah, you would think he would. But they have 3 feature backs, it seems like, all guys that have rushed for a decent amount of yards. They all 3 have 4 touchdowns apiece. Letty Brown running for almost 400. Kennedy McCoy, the 500 yards and 91 carries. And Martell Pettaway, 500 yards, pretty close to it, and the 4 touchdowns, as we mentioned. I think the part that Oklahoma State's going to struggle with is how long and drives West Virginia can sustain.
Yeah.
It's throw, a little pitch and catch, and running down your throat. I think that's what's going to be hard, is it's not the pitch and catch that you see a lot around the Big 12, is they can sustain drives, which will only hamper the Cowboys' chances on Saturday.
For sure, and I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago. That defense can be so undisciplined. I think against Baylor they had, 133 yards and penalties.
Yeah.
The longer West Virginia's going to be on the field and keep driving the ball, there's going to be a lot more chances for those guys to rack up penalties. So they got to get them off the field quick, like they did OU. I thought that was one of the best things they did against OU was they got them off the field quickly for the most part.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting enough to see what the Cowboys are able to do on Saturday. But, you know, one thing that they really struggled with against OU was obviously special teams had a huge impact on the game, and the penalties were in their favor. They played well enough against OU to win the game, and OU actually led in penalties. I had twice as many penalties, and I think for close to 130 yards. OU had, and OSU just had the 4 for 31 yards, I do believe. So if Oklahoma State can contain those penalties, but I think you're right. If they sustain those drives, you're going to start to see the defense get a little sloppy there, especially with what Will Grier is able to do. But their defense, as we said, probably one of the best, if not the best, in the Big 12, 19th in the country, which you do not see a lot here in this conference. But they have a ton of sacks, not as many as Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's leading the country, but they run a similar 4-2-5, not exact to what Jim Knowles and the Cowboys do, but something similar. But the 21 sacks, 10 interceptions, and 77 tackles for loss. So
that's impressive.
I think Oklahoma State's defensive line and offensive line have drastically improved to where they were the first month of the season. Still 5-5, but you've seen a lot of improvement. So if Oklahoma State can slow down the West Virginia offense and force, kind of like what Robert said with OU last week, if they can get 5 or 6 stops, a couple a quarter, they'll be all right.
Yeah, I think they'll have a good chance, like Robert said, against OU. If they make them punt once or twice a quarter, because what did he say? It averages out to about 3 possessions a quarter. So if you can get one of those, or two would be awesome. If you could get 2 stops on those and force a turnover. OU or OSU has not been able to force a turnover. I mean, how long has it been?
Ooh.
You have to go back a while.
Yeah, that's true, and something that this defense, even before Jim Knowles, has really prided themselves on, and it doesn't seem to be a point of emphasis yet this year.
Yeah.
But West Virginia is a really good football team, but I think you noted something earlier, that Oklahoma State can relish in the fact that if they lose Saturday, okay, they lose. They can go to TCU and fight for bowl eligibility. If West Virginia loses, have fun buying your ticket to the Holiday Bowl because you are not reaching your full potential here, which Oklahoma State didn't last year. That's not a shot at West Virginia. But if they lose Saturday, their chances for the college football playoff are over. They're slim now. They're over if they lose to the Cowboys on Saturday. And their shot at a Big 12 championship game is deeply hampered with having to play OU next week. And to win a Big 12 championship would have to beat them 2 weeks in a row. So West Virginia has to win Saturday. So maybe they're playing a little tight. Maybe they're playing a little nervous. And the Cowboys can be like, you know what? We're here to fight, but so what?
Yeah.
Right? So I think that if the Cowboys can use that as motivation in the right way, I think you'll see a good game on Saturday. But I don't know where this locker room stands is why I'm a little hesitant on my pick this week. But I'm gonna take the Mountaineers by 10 points.
So 10's a lot.
They're 5-point favorites right now.
I might be putting too much into the crowd though, because I think the locker room is gonna find motivation somewhere. Because that's something that Mike Gundy does. But he finds ways to motivate guys.
Yeah, but if you're super motivated, you get jacked up, and then you walk into a 65,000 stadium and see 50,000 people there.
Yeah.
Especially half your classmates are at home eating, mom's dessert on the couch watching the game. And you're going to get a little frustrated.
And that's what I'm saying. Maybe I'm putting too much. Maybe I'm thinking too many people are going to be there.
Yeah, I'm worried. My parents are coming to the game, so there's 2 extra that aren't typically
there. You go.
So
they'll make the difference, Reed.
If you call your parents, and David gets his parents from Colorado, and Larry gets his parents from Dallas, and Ryan gets his parents, and Riley gets his parents, 2, 4, 8, 6, 8, 10. We're good.
There we go.
We're good. That's 12 people right there.
Tell a friend to tell a friend to go.
We can fill up 1/100th of a section.
There we go.
Right here. But we're making a difference, and that's all that matters.
Yes.
But if you're a student, stay Saturday. You pay for the ticket. You've paid for the ticket.
Yeah.
You're paying for the experience. Go enjoy it. It's the last home football game of the season. You're going to be sitting here in February on Saturday going, I really wish we could go to Boone Pickens Stadium. So relish in the opportunity. Enjoy it. Go support your classmates as they take on another top 10 opponent. But I think at the end of the day, we're both right now going to have to take the Mountaineers to
Yeah.
win this game, and I certainly hope I'm wrong.
Same.
I hope I'm wrong. Getting the Cowboys Bowl eligible would be a huge win for this team and this program, as with the way this season's gone.
Yeah.
Mike Gundy 4-2 against Dana Holgorsen, so that is in his favor right there. But we're going to go around the college football world here.
Okay.
Some interesting games this week. I know the game that you were super excited about, that you've been talking about. You had it circled on your calendar, Logan, and to be quite honest, you've annoyed me a little bit with it. You've talked about it so much. The Citadel at Alabama in Tuscaloosa on Saturday. Uh-oh.
I know.
This is
Reed,
a big,
we could get tickets to this game. We can make it back.
Were they
time for
$4?
5? It's a deal. The game of the century.
ESPN Power Football Index, Logan, is giving the Citadel a 0.1% chance to win this game. Alabama is 99.9% guaranteed to win this game.
It's a pretty good chance for the Citadel.
0.1, that's
pretty
too
good.
much. There is zero chance that they will win
Maybe that
this game.
0.1 means Alabama won't show up. Maybe that's what that means.
Vegas doesn't even have a line for this game right now.
It's a smart move.
They don't even have a line. Thoughts and prayers with the Citadel.
And you know, everyone talks about how the Big 12 doesn't play anyone.
Oh, yeah, every SEC game has the Citadel and Jacksonville State littered throughout the back half of their schedule.
And Florida plays Idaho.
That's a toughie.
There's no line on
the
it.
Vandals are 4-6. That's 4 wins better than they've had the rest of the decade.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, is Petrino's brother still coaching there? He got fired at Louisville this week. We'll talk about that on Friday. But, look, I mean, Penn State at Rutgers, Middle Tennessee at Kentucky.
UMass at Georgia.
What?
I mean
Utah
Rice
State
at LSU.
Utah State and Colorado State. Ooh. I mean, there is a couple of good games here, which we will get to. And we're going to start off with Syracuse and Notre Dame. Number 12 and number 3. Notre Dame is 10-0. Syracuse is at 8-2. They are playing in Yankee Stadium, which I cannot stand. This isn't the New Era Pinstripe Bowl, but they're playing in Yankee Stadium. With that change of environment, with everything that's on the line for Notre Dame, this is my trap game. I'm taking the Syracuse Orange to win this football game. Notre Dame's 10.5-point favorite, though.
Yeah, I agree that this is the best chance for Notre Dame to lose.
In the regular season.
Yes, yeah, obviously. So, but they're just so good. You know, I hate to say it, but they haven't proven me wrong yet. They haven't shown me anyone could beat them. And I know it's a neutral site game. I don't think that hurts them that much. I think it's closer to Syracuse, their campus, correct?
Yeah, it is.
So you might see more Syracuse fans there, but
there's Notre Dame fans everywhere, especially in New York City. There's going to be a ton of Notre Dame fans there. Probably going to fill out the third base line.
Yeah.
I cannot stand games in baseball stadiums, but a game that absolutely no one cares about, Boston College at Florida State.
Yeah.
Taking Boston College because Florida State's awful.
Yeah. Sorry, Riley.
Yeah, sorry about that. Iowa State and Texas, a Big 12 matchup, number 16 and number 15. Texas 2.5-point favorites. David Montgomery out for the first half. I'm taking Iowa State in this game. I think that Brock Purdy, I think that they have everything rolling, and Texas is going through some stuff.
Yeah.
Horns down, and they cry themselves to sleep.
I was about to say we should, Sam, there you go. Never forget.
Sorry about that. Wipe your tears, thoughts and prayers. We don't care.
It's good. I like that.
Arizona and number 8 Washington State is your Pac-12 after dark. Washington State, I've been waiting for that slip-up game. I think I've predicted them to lose 2 or 3 weeks in a row, and I love Mike Leach. They have proven me wrong. I'm going to take them in this game. I'm going to take the loss, which we'll get to next week, Washington State at Washington. I think that one they'll drop, but I'm going to take Washington State in this one.
I'll also take Washington State here. Arizona just hasn't shown me anything all year. Weren't they ranked at one point, but then they totally collapsed, and now they're 5-5.
Yeah, they started the season with a 28-point loss at Houston.
Oh yeah.
So they there was some with Kevin Sumlin coming there and Khalil. I forget his first or last name, but their quarterback at Arizona. Now that he got injured, so there was some hope there. But we're both taking Washington State. Number 24 Cincinnati at number 11 UCF, the undefeated Golden Knights, who have the longest winning streak in FBS right now. Go Bearcats. Cincinnati is pulling the upset on Saturday.
No way. UCF's going to remain undefeated this year. They're going to be co-national champions again. It's going to be great. But, you know, they're not going to get the respect they deserve, and they're not going to get in the playoff.
You know what? You just used a term right there. What was that word?
Respect?
No, before that. Deserve. Deserve. They don't deserve anything. Their toughest game is Cincinnati.
It's a ranked opponent, Reed.
Oh, come on, Logan. South Florida and Cincinnati are the ones who has UCF shaking in their boots. No one cares. Please, College Football Committee, please just put them in. Let them jump from 11-4 and play the Alabama Crimson Tide. We'll see who's deserving then.
We will. But they're not going to make it happen, Reed. You know it. They don't care.
Oh, by the way, another tough opponent for an SEC, top 5 SEC team. Georgia has UMass coming to town.
Georgia's a 41-point favorite.
UMass, the Citadel, and Idaho and Middle Tennessee coming to the SEC this weekend.
It's great. It's a great slate of games.
What a joke. We'll be back on Friday. Thank you for watching One-on-One, OSU Student Radio, KXUI, Sunlink Channel 112.
Your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.